All right. Okay. I'm gonna draw. Are we ready? What's it gonna be? Split. Split stitch. Ta-da! All right. We're gonna split some stitches. Okay. So if you know how to do the split, you can take off if you want, or you can stick around. And for some tips, I'm gonna switch to my first person. Okay. All right, so for the split stitch, let's see, what did we do on ours? So if your box has a lot of colors with the split stitch, you know, it's a linear stitch. So is this the stolen sweatshirt? No, I did buy this one. I bought it at a thrift store, but it was brand new, which was awesome. Okay, so with the split stitch, is this it down here? Yes, this is my split right here. So it's a very linear stitch, so you can, like mine was in an empty box, so I was able to I just did some diagonal lines following the grid. If yours is on a spot that has some lines and curves, you could follow the line. Or you can follow the grid, or you can do whatever you want. That's what's so nice about those linear stitches, is there's so much flexibility. And then let's see, where's Bonnie's split? Bonnie's split's right here. So she went a little more, she filled in it a little bit more than I did. All right, so the split stitch done the split stitch way is well, I'm going to show you two ways. One is called the split stitch and one is called the split back stitch. The split stitch is the sort of traditional split stitch. And I'm going to do that first. I'm going to use 6 strands. And the reason I'm going to use 6 strands is because it's kind of easier to split it when there's more strands. It is going to make a thicker line. I mean, you could do this. You could do this with 2 strands if you wanted, but you're going to probably want to use an even number of strands so that you can, you know, split it. This doesn't, I don't think this really works if you're using pearl cotton. Never actually tried it, but maybe with a higher count pearl cotton, like a thicker pearl cotton, you could do it. So with the split stitch, you make 1 stitch like you do with in the beginning of a running stitch. And then you come up kind of in the middle of the stitch. Well, you can actually come up wherever you want. You can split it wherever you want. I'm going to split mine in the middle. And some people, Bonnie, just kidding. Some people count the number of threads on either side. Like I said the other day, I'm an ish kind of stitcher, so I don't count the number of number of strands on either side. But if you are, you know, like a really precise stitcher, or you're doing, you know, some kind of work maybe where you really, really, really want that precise look, then you're going to want to, you know, count the splits, count the strands, and make sure you're splitting it evenly. But I'm just going to go with this and be very happy with it. And then come up and then make another stitch. And then come up from the back again. And you can kind of decide where you want to come up. I'm coming up right in the middle of it, but you could come up, you know, towards the back of the stitch, towards the front of the stitch, like that. Okay? All right, so that is the split stitch. It doesn't use a lot of thread. It makes almost like a little chain. It looks a little bit like a chain stitch, which is what we did yesterday. So I don't know if you can see that, but it does look a little bit like a chain. Okay? And then the split back stitch is worked just like a back stitch, but you go, instead of just going back to I know we haven't done back stitch, so if anyone doesn't know what a back stitch is, I'll just show it to you right now. So for a back stitch, you make 1 stitch, and then you come up, and then you go back in right at the end of that previous stitch. But with this split back stitch, you come up, and then you split the previous stitch from the top like that. Okay, so you can do that. And this, it's a similar look, but it actually uses a ton more thread, and I'll show you on the back. So if you are, you know, trying to conserve thread because you're about to run out, or because you are just someone who doesn't like to use a lot of thread, this is not your best choice. So I'll show you. So see on the back, this is the regular back stitch, and it just uses this much. But then on the back here, for the split back stitch, it uses like, I don't know, twice as much thread or something like that. So just something to consider. This will make make your fabric thicker and bulkier, and this keeps it lighter. So it just depends on how you want to stitch. Like we always say, just do what works for you. So you could try that out on your square or another piece of fabric and see what you like. All right, so I'm going to find my back stitch, my split stitch box. Why am I so challenged by finding these things? Start. What the heck? Why am I not seeing this? Here it is. I found it, guys. This is so exciting. Easier to split from the top for me, says Marilyn. Yes. Yep. And then you can also get them, you know, you can be more precise. If you want to make sure that you have an even number of stitches on either side, it's a heck of a lot easier to count them. You know, you got your needle in your hand and you can just kind of pull them apart from there. I prefer the coming up from the back. I think it's because I like the way that it looks on the back better. Bonnie and I always say, like, you can keep your back as tidy as you want. You can make it messy, or you can jump around and, and have it crazy on the back, or you can keep it tidy, whatever. The more traditional way, people want to keep it very tidy. We don't care how we do it. But I think I like to keep it a little bit tidier, so I think that's why I like that split stitch. I see that a couple people just joined. If you missed it, we are doing the split stitch. So I'm gonna use 6 strands again, and I'm going to use, let's see, I'm gonna use this purple. Oh, I just unthreaded my needle. It was really fun seeing everybody's day 2 with the chain stitch, and I love how we had team regular chain and team reverse chain. Very fun. And I love that lots more people added pictures to the Google Drive. If anyone's having trouble getting in there, please let us know and we'll help you get in. And I know if you don't have a Google account, you won't be able to add photos, but you can still look at everybody's. So I'm going to do my stitches kind of small, just for fun. And I am going to do the regular split stitch. It's so beautiful here today, you guys. It's sunny. It's warm-ish. I went out with just a sweatshirt, no jacket. It was awesome. And those joggers that I told you that I'm wearing, they're actually like made with a wool poly fleece fabric, which on a cold day is lovely. On a warm day like this, it's a little hot. We had another person sign up last night, and she's from Indiana, and so I wonder if she's friends with, we have a couple other people from Indiana. And we have a Washington contingent, and we have, I don't know, I feel like we've got some nice groups of people that are stitching together, which is so fun. Hey, Jess. We're doing the split stitch for anyone who joined late. We had some nice comments about the time yesterday that worked really well for someone because she was able to stitch while her baby's napped, which is awesome. I'm going to change colors now. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come in and I'm actually going to come back and follow that curve. I like that. I'm going to do another line. And I'm going to draw, because I want it to actually follow it. Michigan, that's right. Thank you. Yes, I love it. I just love it. Bonnie and I were saying it's so great that you guys have so many friends that all stitch together. That's so wonderful. It's such a beautiful craft and such a nice way to spend time. You can share experience, share advice, share bingo fun. And I saw that someone won bingo on Jessica Long's bingo game. So I don't think it was any of you guys. I was really hoping that one of you guys would have won. That would have been really cool. How's everybody doing with your stitching? Having fun? Usually Bonnie and I do lives together. It's weird not having someone else. You guys just have to listen to me. Bonnie's on next week. You can listen to her next week. Jessica taught the chain rows. Lovely. Was that yesterday? I saw that on your board. Yeah, I know. I want to try the chain rows too. It looks really nice. All right. Oh, I don't like how the placement of that last stitch. I'm just going to change the angle a little bit. Oh, day 4 of her bingo? Okay. Well, that came in handy for yesterday then, for us. That's great. I really love that people are doing both. It's so cool. Bibgo. What the heck? Why can't I thread this? There we go. No! Bonnie and I talk a lot about authenticity and how that's how we want to be as business owners and as fellow stitchers. We want to be really authentic. So here I'm being authentic and cannot thread my needle. Bonnie, I did mine a little tight. Jessica said you can do them loose and fluffy. Marilyn added that comment for anyone watching later. That's a great tip. To kind of experiment with however you want to do it. Come back this way. Oh, what song is in my head today? Ooh, I didn't see that. You know what? My son, Graham, this morning was singing Bruno, so it's back in there. It's back in. That song is powerful. It's really powerful. So, yeah, I'm back to that. Sorry, BTS. You got the boot. All right. I'm listening right now to an audiobook. It's a mystery by Louise Penny. I don't know if anybody else, Marilyn, you might know them since her books take place in Canada. But I'm listening and I'm just at the end and I just found out that the guy that I really, really, really didn't want to be whodunit did it. I was so disappointed. He seemed like such a nice guy. I guess that you gotta be careful of the nice guys, right? At least in mystery books. I'm going to switch to pink now. Is anyone else reading something right now that's really good? Anyone have time to read? I hardly have time to read, which is why I do audiobooks. I can listen here and there as I drive around. I'm just going to continue with this little arc that I've got going on. Bonnie says, thanks, Marilyn. I'll have to keep that in mind. Her tension seems to be pretty light usually, but fluffy would be pretty. Oh, pretty tight. Sorry, your tension is tight. Yes. Ooh, I love this pink. Hope you guys like the thread colors. If you got the full kit, it was really fun. Poor Bonnie had to go to the store and buy them all herself one day. I wasn't able to go with her. No time to read with the Olympics and embroidery bingo. Yeah, right? Thanks, Kathleen. That's kind of true right now, huh? I haven't actually seen any of the Olympics yet. I need to do that. My husband and I are watching the Great, which is about Catherine the Great. It's on Hulu. Do not watch it with any children in any near vicinity at hearing or vision distance. So they'll learn a lot more than they probably should know. But it is very entertaining if anyone is looking for a new show and doesn't mind some crass stuff. It's very fun. But I should take time for the Olympics. For any new stitchers, if you find your thread twisting as you're working, there's a couple things you can do. You can just do the dangle method where I can't really show you because of the setup, but you just flip it over and then let your thread and needle hang, and then it'll untwist. You can also twist your needle in your hand after every stitch. I'll have to figure out the direction. I can never remember. I just do it automatically. And it works, but does often end up, I'm going to go back the other way. It does often end up twisting anyway, especially with some stitches. But the dangle method works really well. And then I think when I'm done, I'm going to just continue these lines with the other colors at the top. So I've got orange up there and yellow too. Are your guys' boxes empty or with many colors? I'm gonna tie off. I love the back. It looks so cute. Maybe I'll just show you guys if you're new to embroidery. Instead of tying off, another thing that you can do is just weave your threads through these stitches on the back. You can just kind of like we did with the woven running. You can just kind of weave through. And then if we're mending or working with clothes, we usually weave and tie. Hoop butts. Yep. Yeah, if you want to look at a cool hashtag, check out hashtag hoop butts. Okay. All right. So I think that's all I'm going to do today. And I'll go back and finish up this here. So if you guys have any questions, send us an email. Oh, Laura says, lots of colors and I'm using my own thread. These blues are so similar and can't remember which is which. Yes, they are similar. Yep. But it doesn't really matter. You can just use, whatever works the best for you. Oh, hi, Tannen. You just joined. We did the split stitch today. All right. All right. I'm going to take off, you guys. Happy stitching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.